Without further ado, Korynn, if you could come and join us. We're so appreciative that you're here with us, Korynn.
Absolutely.
I know
Thanks for
you're
having me.
busy. Korynn is the mom of 3, very, very busy woman, and does yoga and has written a book with poetry and is really here to talk about self-care, which a lot of us forget about. And I am so appreciative of you being here to remind us the importance of self-care. And maybe before we begin, Korynn, tell us a little bit about yourself and how your background. I know you've been teaching. And
yeah, I was a teacher for 10 years. I taught at Discovery Charter School and Riley Elementary. I'm a mother of 3, as you mentioned, and I kind of found yoga and self-care, the practices, the last few years. I ended up resigning from teaching because I was really burnt out, and my youngest son had some health issues. And I remember telling my coworkers, like, I feel like there's this major shift coming. And then, so then I kind of just slowly started this process. It's beautiful, and I'm so grateful for it. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. So we can all understand getting burned out in our jobs, and thank goodness you were able to find things that were meaningful for you.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the yoga, was that something that you picked up? And maybe just so people can understand what yoga is, maybe start with the basics.
Yeah, so I was yoga has this, I'm not flexible enough to do yoga, and so when I started going to yoga studios, I was so judgmental on my ability to get into the pose, to not get into the pose, that I actually ended up practicing at a friend's house, Sue Barris. And so she offered her home, and she had like a little studio in her home where she talked about breath work. And I didn't realize how important breath work was in the practice of yoga. And then I started paying attention to my breath. Even as I'm sitting here today, I'm not breathing as deep as, I was sitting over there breathing. So just beginning to tune into your breath is like easy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so powerful, right, Korynn? I actually taught a stress management class at one point, and there is some Harvard professor who did a whole thing on breath that I used to talk about with. And I agree with you. It's amazing how powerful when we are in our own space and think about our breath, how that helps us. Maybe you can talk about that
because,
a bit.
I mean, what do you do when you're afraid? You gasp.
Yeah.
Right? And when you're nervous, you don't breathe as deep and your breath is shallow. And so yoga teaches you to, first of all, just have awareness of it, because one of my mentors says you cannot change that which you're not aware of. So just becoming aware of how you're breathing. We call it the life force pranayama, practicing in yoga. And so it's literally bringing the breath into the body to get into these traumas and these dramas that are stored, because when you're scared, you're nervous, you tense up.
Sure.
And so bringing your breath in to soften and release that is so cathartic and therapeutic and opening. And then you're aware of your body, and you're not in your head, you're not dissociating. So,
and it's so hard to get out of our head, right? I mean, we are always, our thoughts are ruminating and going
so
around and around.
much, right?
So to take, I'm cracking up because I remember doing this stress management course at a bank, and I talked about breath, and you could see them going like, oh, you're kidding me.
Right.
Yeah. But it truly is powerful.
It truly is. I mean, it's our life force. It is what is making us here. So why would we not pay more attention to it?
Right.
Yeah, it's...
So tell us about the yoga. Like, why should someone go to yoga, and what's available, and maybe your experience?
So once I started getting more comfortable in my own body with yoga, I started venturing out to local studios, and just as if you were connecting to other people. Some teachers resonate with different, as a teacher, you know, you resonate with different students, and so it is in the yoga world. Thank you. So I just began to pay attention to who I felt comfortable with and started going to their classes. And so the practice of yoga really helped me just stay in my body and like be with myself. And so in self-care, it was a way for me to, in my head, practice exercise, right? Because it's a physical practice. Right. It was a way for me to stay present with myself for 1 hour. And as a mother, you don't get that. As a teacher, you don't get time to yourself. Right. You're constantly bringing your work home.
Right.
So I just initially took it as, okay, this is me time, and I'm getting an exercise. And as I began to go through the practice a little more, I began to learn about the energy side of it and how our body stores, energies and traumas and dramas, and where my body's tensed up, your shoulders.
Right.
That's like your heart chakra. And so, I could talk all day about it.
Right.
It's honestly so much.
So really, a recommendation you would have for anyone listening, parents or moms particularly, who, when the kids were little, Lisa and I were just talking about that with everyone, that, life goes crazy. I mean, it's so busy, you don't even realize that you're stressed.
Right.
So maybe what you're saying is, it doesn't have to be a 180-degree turn, but to get into something like yoga and test it out.
Right. So start small. I know there's a studio in LaPorte called Go Aerial. They provide babysitting on some of their classes. So as a mother, I spent a lot of time in the beginning of my practices going there, dropping my kids off. And it was like, okay, my kids are there. If they're screaming, I can hear them, but I can also give myself an hour of self-care. And it was just like a small step that now, 2-3 years later, opened so many doors.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful. So maybe I guess what I hear you saying, and I agree with you because I've done yoga before, and the instructor really, you either kind of like or maybe not so much.
Right.
So to test it out is what you're saying. There are other yoga studios. And
a therapist. You're not going to, land with a therapist. It took me 3 therapists to find a therapist, Same thing with a yoga teacher. Like, you have choice. So go feel what feels good in your body and your energy. And if it connects, then...
Right. And it sounds like what you're saying, Korynn, is that if you go and you don't like it, don't think, just totally check it off, because maybe it is that instructor that didn't feel right to you.
Right, exactly right,
Good, good. Some of the other things you talked about was just mental health and self-care. You want to talk to us about that? In addition to your book, I want to hear about your poems.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little plug.
Okay, great.
So this is a book I wrote. I did my training at... One yoga studio in Valpo. I also teach there, but so during the pandemic I did my training and I gathered a bunch of poetry. So poetry was my go-to mental health because I used it in a way growing up when I couldn't talk to my parents or whatever. I would just go write, and so I collected all of these poems in different scenarios that I grew up in, and then as I went through my training, I noticed my poetry kind of shift a little, and it started to be more embodied. So this is just a little book on coming down into your own body and just kind of feeling your stuff for the first time, maybe. And I just I'm publishing my second one. It's called Rise Up. So, and it's very much, thank you. It's been, I was really nervous about publishing this book because it's vulnerable, right?
Sure.
And so the second one, I'm really excited to.
That's great. So if anyone wanted this book, what would they do? Just go online?
It's on Amazon.
Oh, great.
And it's at a couple of the studios that I teach it. It's at one yoga studio and Dancing Feet.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of Dancing Feet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful studio.
Yeah, it is.
So that was my first go-to mental health that I didn't even know that I was using. But really, I think it probably helped me through so much. Right. And then, of course, yoga. Right. So then I started going to yoga. So there was a pivotal point in my stepson's life where he lost his little sister. And it kind of affected our whole entire family. And, that was the shift.
Challenging.
Yeah, that was the challenging shift. I was like, I didn't know this was going to be it.
Right.
And so... I had a friend, a parent, reach out to me that I used to teach at Discovery. Her kids, she reached out and she said, "How are you?" And I was like, "I'm not okay."
Yeah, right.
And, that's okay. I'm not okay to say that. And I think that was the first time I was like, oh. And so she guided me to go find a therapist.
Oh, nice.
And so I went to 2 different therapists, and it just wasn't resonating. And she was like, "That's okay."
Yeah.
And I'm like, but something's wrong with me if I'm not clicking, and and I think we do that as women and humans and
we blame
parents.
ourselves.
It's always something. And so then I, through my yoga training, I found a really amazing therapist who does a lot of somatic body energy work. She's also a yoga teacher.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so it was just like, oh my goodness, thank you for trying and trying and trying again, to myself.
Right. And you brought up something really interesting, Korynn, and we talked about being vulnerable, being okay with not being okay.
Yes.
And that is part of life. You know, life is 50-50. 50% we're happy, 50% we're not happy.
Yes.
So it's okay to not be. I love that you said that. You said, it's okay that I'm not okay.
Yes.
So what do we do with that? We don't want to stay in it.
Right.
But you had the courage, if you would, to say I'm not doing so well and to ask for some help.
Yes. So when somebody said, "Are you okay?" It was very vulnerable for me to be like, no, because I was a teacher. I knew as a mother I had a great, marriage. Everything looked okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay. Everything's okay. And if I just go,
Plug away.
stay busy and
Yes.
keep everything going. And my one friend, she asked me, and I finally slowed down and I said, I'm not. And that was very pivotal.
Yeah. Yeah.
To just get vulnerable enough to just admit, I'm not okay.
Yeah. That's powerful.
It
Thank
was-
you, Korynn, for saying that. And I think in our society today, you mentioned two things. One, keeping very busy. Sometimes we think that's like, you deserve a medal because you're so busy. Yeah. Oh, give me
It's
a
the
break.
world we live in.
It
right.
is. That's a fallacy, number one. And number two, to ask for help and that's okay. That's really, really great.
Yeah. Especially because as mothers, we feel responsible and like we have to...
There's too much to do.
Yeah. That self-care or...
Right.
Or even just going to a therapist and something's wrong with you. Yeah. Oh, and then you're probably totally messed up. Like, you don't have to be messed up to go to therapy. I have really great weeks with my therapist. I just, can't wait to just go and tell her, look at all I'm doing, and this is fantastic. And then I have hard weeks where I'm like, I don't really know what I want to talk about. I don't know if I want to. And we have built a relationship, and that's very important, too.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because all too often, of course, what we see in parenting is that, and not in parenting, just any adults, we choose unhealthy things to buffer our feelings. Alcohol, drugs,
definitely,
spending too much money, sex.
Or nobody feels this way. There's
no one has it as bad as I do.
These problems. Just
no one's as dumb as me
that
can't handle life.
Right. But we always say it just takes a village. Just by you going out to getting that help, you're helping your family because it becomes you better. And you also come to realize that, I'm okay now because it's okay that I'm not, I have these feelings.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of other people who have these feelings.
And we have feelings.
Yes.
I mean, we're human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say something too that it takes time. And so going with this fast pace, in the world we live in, we want instant gratification, and I'm so guilty of it too. Just telling my therapist, I just want to get this over with. And so I would just sit there and jackhammer through all my problems just to get over it. But so part of yoga actually teaches you that this is here to move through it, not to push it away, not to go above it, just to be with it, just to be with what you're uncomfortable with.
Right. And that's
as
hard,
a mother,
right? That's hard.
It's so hard.
To be with your negative
It
self.
is. And to admit and to, sit with it. And, but the thing that I take away from it is that I will have these tools to teach my children.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they're probably going to have to go to a therapist too, because everyone should go to therapy.
Yeah.
But, you know
I've
what?
heard that. Yeah, I've
they
heard
really,
that.
and so, but at least I know I'm able to kind of work with them and model this.
Right. You're
for
being
them.
a good role model.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not a destination, it's a journey.
It is a journey.
So you can't just say, well, I get this done, then I hit my destination, because there's going to always be things. So what does that look like?
And through yoga and therapy, you'll have these kind of similar, and it's kind of in an essence in my books too, these repeating dramas and traumas and narratives, these narratives that we tell ourselves.
Right.
I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, or, whatever those things are that we all have racing through, they'll continue to come up in different ways.
Right.
And so it's a process, right? And so there's layers of it.
Right.
So.
And when you uncover one challenge, another pops up.
Yeah,
so
it's layers. Yeah.
I love what you're saying there, is that sometimes our expectations is that we should be happy and be able to handle everything all the time, and we think something's terribly wrong when we can't. But if we have a different view, expectations say, I'm going to have problems. No matter how great I am, I'm
Yes.
going to have problems. And that's okay.
Yes.
Be with your bad feelings.
It's duality. I was
Yeah.
telling my daughter this morning when I was going to drop her off because she was really emotional because she's like me, she's very emotional. I said it's a gift, and then it is.
It is really.
It really is. And I said we just have to learn to, and I'm learning this too. Both exist. The struggle, the shadow, the hard, heavy stuff, and the good, happy stuff. So as I sit here today, I am so happy and I'm so fulfilled, but I have things that I'm working through too.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so for me to acknowledge that they both exist here
Right.
is
It's
like,
big.
it's huge.
Well, it takes the pressure off.
And I feel like as a society, we try to only focus on the good.
Yes.
Or then now we can only focus on the bad, but we can focus on both.
Right.
So
Very nice.
Yeah.
Great
That's a good way to look
advice.
at. Yeah, great way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The duality of it all.
Duality. It's,
Yeah, I love
That's a
that.
great term.
Yeah, duality.
Right.
It's the yin and yang. It's
Yes,
this,
it is.
It's this feminine and masculine energy that we hold in
Right.
our body, just like they
Right.
both exist.
That's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
I
Right.
love that.
Oh, you made me feel better
Yeah.
today, Korynn. Thank you.
And I just want to say one
yes,
thing,
sure.
because I've known Korynn for a long time,
Yeah.
and just the yoga that you're doing all over, really, because in Valpo, didn't you do it right down on the stage?
Yeah, I'm going to be
outside?
there on Friday afternoon, too. They have
Yes.
free yoga on Friday afternoons in
At the
Valpo.
pavilion
I
outside.
think this is the last week, but
Okay.
I think they do it every summer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I just loved it that you were up on stage, and then all those people, and anybody who wants to just come in
Yeah.
and just try it for
It's
the first
great.
time. Yeah.
And to do yoga outside. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about breathing fresh air and
Right.
feeling all the elements.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So Friday at what time?
It's at noon Friday at Central Park Plaza.
Yeah.
It's
In Valpo.
free for anybody.
It's
Mhm.
free.
And you
Just-
can bring your kids.
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. I was a teacher. I can make it up.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Korynn, thank you so much. Is there anything
Absolutely.
else you'd like to say or add? Or?
I have a couple of things here that were helpful for me. And so it's like some final thoughts. Like if you are struggling, if you're a parent, if you're a mother, if you're a man, really, for everybody. I just encourage you to get vulnerable enough just to kind of reiterate to ask for help. Just one person, one time. I had somebody recently reach out to me a couple months ago and she says, I see your life, I'm struggling, what do I do? And I said, okay, if you don't want to go to yoga, maybe you're not a very physical person or it freaks you out, there's meditations available. So my friend and I are doing sound healing meditations where we incorporate music, talk about energy, we talk about the chakras in the body, and then you just lay there and just soak in the sound. And it's energy vibration, so it helps your body kind of adjust and heal. Be kind to yourself.
That's our motto.
Is it?
That's what we end the program
we end
with
up
every
the program.
time.
Be kind
No
to yourself.
way!
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Because we are our hardest critics. So just that narrative that you're replaying in your head, and rest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take a nap. You're not lazy. It's not
Right.
selfish.
Yeah.
If your body's tired, sit on the couch, do the laundry later, whatever, and slow down. Like, so I go hiking a lot, and I just spend, even if it's for 15, 20 minutes, just go and slow down and absorb kind of what's happening around you, because we're kind of in tune with nature and the processes, and learn about trauma is my final thought, because we just went through a pandemic. So at this point, kind of nobody's out of the woods when
Right.
we talk about trauma.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody has it to certain degrees and variations, and it looks different. And so to begin to educate yourself as a woman, as a mother, as a caretaker, even as a husband or a parent, it will help you heal, and then it will help you sort of understand others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a
Korynn,
powerful
thank
way.
you so
Yeah.
That's
much. That's
beautiful.
fabulous,
Yeah.
powerful information you shared today.
Thank you so much for having me. I
Well,
really
thank you
appreciate
for
it.
being here today. And Lisa, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Megan, thank you. What a peaceful message, really, from Korynn today. And as she said, and as we leave our group all the time, and especially during the pandemic, how it's affected all of us in one way or another, is to be kind to yourself. And what does that mean? Korynn's given us a lot of great ideas that you can do at home or reach out and if you're challenged right now, to please be vulnerable and ask for help. And enjoy this day. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with other people out in the world. You never know what someone's gone through. And have a great week. And thank you for joining us.